uwager.lv, sportsbook, and casino. Sign up today at uwager.lv, the premier online sportsbook, taking wagers since 1998. The most player-friendly lines, weekly juice specials, and a true dime line in MLB. Unique casino platforms with thousands of games. Play poker, high stakes, low stakes, or tournament play. uwager.lv, what we offer. Free same-day payouts. Customer service and wagering support, 24/7, year-round. Free monthly rebates on your action and daily casino rebates. Contests, free bets, best bonuses, and giveaways. Generous referral program. Get an 80% free play bonus on your first deposit, up to $1,000. Sign up today, and use promo code SPORTSWEB. Remember, you can't win if you don't play.
another edition of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television here live from Raymond James Stadium. It's the Sports Web. I'm Peter Blake along with the great J.P. Peterson of the J.P. Peterson Show as your Tampa Bay Buccaneers fall to the Atlanta Falcons to a coup field goal at the end of it, 51 yards, 16-13 to fall to 3-3.
Not coup.
Not coup.
That was not coup.
No, not coup. No, it was not. No.
16-13, dreadful football game. Absolutely dreadful football game. I thought I was watching the Ohio State game all over again from Saturday. Just awful offense. 9 penalties on each team. Fumbles, terrible interceptions. That's just bad football.
This is kind of what they are at this point, and trying to figure out their identity, trying to figure out the running game. Is it the interior line? Is it the running backs? I mean, anytime big time run today, it was called back with a penalty,
which kills you.
It just kills the offense. Momentum. Yeah. I mean,
the offense in general is not great.
No,
it's not great. It's a work in progress. We knew this would happen with Dave Canales, and a quarterback coming in that's learning the system, learning all the players. All the more reason to not take 7 days off during your bye week.
Right.
But today was just really a culmination of all that. It's not an offense that's getting better. It seems to be regressing because of the penalties and some of the other things, because now people are getting tape on you. They know what you want to do. You should be making adjustments off of that, and you're still not to the point where you can competently run the offense. It starts with the running game, as it does with almost every single offense. They are not getting any push in the interior whatsoever. You got 2 tackles they're pretty good players and can block in the run game a little bit, but if you don't have any push in the middle, Robert Hainsey gets no push whatsoever. Filer has not been good. Cody Mock is a rookie, but none of those interior guys are really playing very well. I asked Todd Bowles after the game, are you thinking of any changes on the interior line or at running back? The personnel just isn't good. The running backs are not good. And Rashad White showed a little bit of flash today. Keyshawn Vaughn is just a pair of shoes.
I don't know why he's still on this team, because you're supposed to catch the ball. He gives you nothing in the run game at the end of the day, whether it's the offensive line or him. But you've seen enough. When is Sean Tucker going to be called, or when is his team?
He must not know any of the plays, or they don't trust him in pass protection whatsoever.
Right.
Because clearly anyone would be a better runner at this point. He's got better speed. Hopefully, has better vision. He was very productive in college, which tells me he has some vision.
Yeah.
It wasn't working with a tremendous offensive line at Syracuse, so the guy's definitely got some talent, but they're not using him, and I'm guessing that's why, because he's not ready, because that gets your quarterback killed, causes turnovers. But so hopefully, and why trade deadline is 9 days away.
Yeah.
They've got to go out on the open market and find
short
a
week
back,
against Buffalo.
Rashad Penny,
right?
Not this week, obviously in a short week, but when that game is over, they've got to address the personnel of this running game, because the scheme I don't think it's a scheme related thing. You can't run the football if you're not moving anybody up front. You're not going to be able to run the football. And listen, the last 2 weeks they've gone up against 2 very, very stout rush defenses. I didn't think they would be able to run the ball very well today, and they didn't. Their running backs ran it 17 times for 41 yards.
Who was your leading rusher in this game, by the way?
Well, actually, Rashad got in his last 3 carries for 3 yards. He overtook Baker Mayfield for the leading rusher of the day.
That's a problem.
Baker had the 31-yard run and was immediately the leading rusher, but then Rashad stole it back with those 3 carries for 3 yards at the end there.
Right.
So I mean, it's
which has become typical with this offense, which is not going to get it done. And your defense can do everything they can. And look, they gave up some big plays on that last drive. You got to tackle. It's Ryan Neal. It's the same suspects. But your defense puts you in position to win.
Well, we know what went wrong on that.
Yes.
I'm sorry. At least Todd Bowles knows what went wrong on that. But he's not telling us.
Okay.
I mean, directly.
Right.
We're in the press conference, and we ask him what happened on that last play. He goes, I know exactly what happened. We'll get it fixed. It's like, Coach, this is the portion of the program where you tell us. This is where you answer the questions.
Right.
And, and it's one of the I love Todd Bowles, but he's not going to tell us anything. He's not going to throw anybody under the – and it's not throwing people under the bus if you just because that leaves us to guess.
It's just being accountable.
Us idiots now have to go guess exactly what's going on out there. And looked like to me, it was it looked like kind of a cover 2 there where, Pitts with the outside between the safety and the corner. Nicely, Ritter made a really nice throw in that situation. But Ryan Neal, I mean, this is basic football. You make the tackle. If you can't make a play on the ball, you make the tackle. You can't be caught in no man's land and do neither. You either come up and play the man or play the ball. You did neither. So Pitts catches the ball, I think at about the 40, his own 40, and then runs into field goal range. I mean, if he makes the tackle right there, there's 35, 40 seconds left in the game.
Yeah.
They've got maybe one timeout. It's not the game, but you certainly aren't allowing – now they've got to earn another 15, 20 yards before they're in field goal range. So that's a killer play. And Ryan Neal, we've talked about this guy. He looks great. He looks the part, has all the physical abilities. His football IQ is not very good.
Not taking good angles.
In situational football right there, you've got to make the tackle in the spot and you're not hurt that bad. That's basic situational football. And D. Delaney needs to play. That guy, when he gets on the field, he's got a tremendous football IQ. He's not as big. He's not as fast, but he knows how to play the game.
Right.
And there's got to be some personnel changes, but this administration, this coaching staff over the last couple of years has not shown a proclivity to make personnel changes.
Big word there, Leo word.
And when guys aren't playing well, you got to make changes.
Yes.
Give somebody else a shot at this point. I mean, especially in a year where you're supposed to be finding out who can play and who can't. It's pretty obvious some of these guys who can't play. And if they're not getting the job done, get somebody else in there. Make some changes. That'll be hard to do in a short week, obviously, with Buffalo coming up on Thursday. But post that in the mini bye, if there's not significant personnel changes made on offense and defense, then there's that's a problem with the coaching staff.
Wind me up.
Let's do it.
727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. I know Bucs fans, you want to talk about it. This is for me, a game that you could have won. That the Atlanta Falcons with Desmond Ridder, who I've talked about ad nauseum, not a good quarterback, showed some flashes today, but turns over the ball three times. But the big-time turnover that a lot of fans are going to definitely focus on and a lot of the media is going to focus on is, and you have an opportunity to get that 3 points the second to last drive, not the last drive, the second to last drive, instead of checking it down to Rashard White, Baker Mayfield goes back to his old tricks, forces the ball into double coverage, an ill-advised throw. You get no points out of that, and that's a killer. That is a killer at the end of the day. It's a killer.
We asked Baker about that, and he said there was a play, I think, to Chris Godwin. He got held up at the line, so that brought the safety down into that route for Cade because Chris Godwin was delayed, so he wasn't getting out. That's why he was double covered. He wasn't expected to be double covered, but he's not making an excuse. He's at least telling us what happened,
right? And
you just can't force it there. It almost, today really looked like Baker in a lot of different ways had already made up his mind where he was throwing the football to, because he's going to look at the tape and he's going to see Rashard White open in the flat about 150 times.
Sure.
And you just got to take the freaking check down. He even said it. He goes, I just got to take. There was a second down right down here when they were down on the 8-yard line, first and goal at the 8.
Yeah.
And they're playing zone. And when first and goal at the 8, there aren't a whole lot.
I got a surprise for you.
There ain't a whole lot of good plays for that. Let me finish the stuff.
Yeah.
So there's not a whole lot of windows. So they're backing up into the end zone. And Rashard White is just hanging out at the 5-yard line by himself.
Yeah.
And that's going to be him one-on-one with the corner to see if he can beat him to get into the end zone. One way or another, you're going to get some positive yards. You're probably going to score if Rashard White can beat somebody in the open field. And that's the way you're going to beat that zone in that situation. He knows that. He's going to look at the tape and see it, and he's going to see probably 5 or 6 different times during the game where he could have checked it down. They were not covering the back out of the backfield in any aggressive way. They were allowing them to get that, and these are the things that they're going to look at the tape and they got to fix. They got to fix.
All right, I told you I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but I got a surprise for you. I got Baker Mayfield, his press conference. We could stay online here
in his pajama top.
Here. Here we go.
Yes.
Baker, I'm sure it was an emotional and performance roller coaster today. Sloppy play on both sides. A lot of missed opportunities. Talk about your journey mentally and physically through that.
Too many penalties. I think anytime you're consistently hurting yourself, getting behind the chains, you don't make your job any easier. It went both ways. They threw some penalties on them defensively as well, but just simple things. A lot of pre-snap penalties for us, which is just sloppy. Can't have it. Need to clean it up, and so it's on me for not being on the same page with everybody, I guess, and just got to over-communicate, make sure that we're all on the same page, and eliminate those simple mistakes.
Baker, once again, this running game just struggled to find any real positive gains, and you had the longest run of the day, for example. How frustrating is it to kind of play just with one hand tied behind your back essentially, and just have to focus on the passing game?
Yeah, I mean, we came into this game knowing their rush defense is statistically up there in the top of the league. So they don't make it easy anyways. And so I had a few different runs and just try and do some different looks for them. But, yeah, got to be able to get some shots called based on the run game. And, yeah, they were able to play a lot of two-high defense, but they're good at it. That's what we talked about. They're able to play two safety defense with the front that they have, how aggressive they are, and able to stop the run. So they make it hard, but, yeah, hats off to them for doing a good job.
Can you take us through that interception and just kind of what you were seeing and how you were feeling?
Yeah, so it just ideally wouldn't like to have the traffic pattern that we did, but when Chris is pressed up, it just happens that way. So if he has a little bit of an issue at the line of scrimmage, the safety's not going to be backing up at all on Cade. So if he's aggressive, then either have a shot to Chris over the top, and at that point in the game, can't turn the ball over in the red zone, so just check it down to the back in the flat and move on with your life. So we had a few good checkdowns today, missed a few. Yeah, it's a critical one that took points off the board, and that's completely on me.
Baker, how much say-so do you have when you're crafting a game plan, when Dave Canales is crafting a game plan? For example, putting something together, can you say, Dave, this hasn't been working, let's throw it out, let's not use it?
I'm not really sure what you're trying to get at. Like we get together on the game plan and say what do we like, what do we don't like. I mean, it's not like I'm eliminating the whole game plan, and vice versa. He's not saying that we have to do certain things, but we just got to find ways to make some of these plays work. Yeah, I mean, like I said, they're a good rush defense. Statistically, they make it very hard on you. They did a good job today, and so, like I said, we tried to do some different looks, but didn't have a whole lot of success.
Baker, you had a 31-yard run, your longest since your rookie season. Can you kind of take us through what you saw in that play?
Yeah, just a full left to right progression read. Everything's kind of coming over into my vision. So as I'm going through the reads, they popped the snap of cover two. Thought about putting it on Trey to slow him up, but just wanted to move through the reads. And, yeah, just one of those that you feel the momentum of the defense and just take off and run, make a play. And unfortunately, though, after that, couldn't get the ball in the end zone to seal the deal and take some more time off the board. But, yeah, got to find ways continually. This story over and over is for us not getting the ball in the end zone, settling for field goals, and then obviously my turnover in the red zone. So not getting enough points in the red zone. We're driving the ball. It's just we've got to finish.
Baker, what are the issues there? I mean, it seems like you're facing a lot of zone defense. Do you not have the zone beaters, or what's going on there?
There's a few plays that were real close. I think the nickel made a good play on the post shot to Mike. I truly think he made a really good play on it. It was really close. And then on that last drive, there's pass interference. Trey's going to catch a seam ball for a touchdown. The guy tackles him. So there's plays that we're really close on. And then the one on that last drive as well to Chris. For me, either trigger it on the first hitch or get it to Rashad in the flat. He's able to get the ball one-on-one with the corner. It's a good matchup for us. But, yeah, we're really close. That's what's so frustrating about it is we're not able to finish, but we're right there.
You have a short week coming up. How do y'all bounce back from this and get ready for the Bills?
Watch the film. I think we pretty much know some of the mistakes that we made. A lot of pre-snap penalties, stupid things, and so flush this film and get ready. It's Thursday games are a lot of mental work for us, so I can't exactly get a lot of physical stuff. You're still recovering a few days later, and yeah, get on the same page and be professionals about it.
You guys had so much momentum going into the bye week. I know some guys were like, I don't want it to end. Mm-hmm. How do you regain some of that back?
Just got to execute. When you're executing and winning, it kind of cures all. Once again, I think our defense did a great job. I mean, I can't say enough about Antoine Winfield Jr. And the guy's a stud. Levante making plays all over the board. I mean, missed some names here, but yeah, we just offensively we have to be better, and I'm going to wear that one for us. We have to be better offensively, and that's my job as a quarterback and a leader of this offense to push these guys to finish these drives, not have these penalties, and make sure that we're helping our defense out.
Baker, you had 3 shots from the 8-yard line, first and goal from the 8. Is that the film that you're really going to kind of zero in on and say, get a touchdown here, we win this game? There's 3 plays didn't happen.
Yeah, Gonna look at exactly what we were doing right there. The last one, we were gonna have a good matchup with Cade in the middle, one-on-one with the backer. But Gigantor, Calais Campbell, hit him when he was running off the line of scrimmage, and so it slowed the progression down, and everybody was kind of on different levels. Just little things, like I said, we're right there, but just little things down there in the red zone that do, quite frankly, make a huge difference when it's tighter windows and the timing's got to be on point.
Baker, did you feel like this game was going to go into overtime, or did you think you guys were going to be able to bring in the win today?
Don't get that.
Wanted to close it out when we got down to the touchdown, but then once we kicked the field goal, they stopped us. You're just hoping for overtime. There's no expectations. You're just hoping for the best, and just to give us one more chance to get the ball back and go win it for us. Thanks, guys.
All right, so a very disappointing Baker Mayfield there after the Bucs lose 16-13. Live here from Raymond James Stadium. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with JP Peterson of the JP Peterson Show. Open phone line once again if you want to talk about the loss, 727-255-0391. Again, 727-255-0391. Your defense gave you every opportunity because
defense was great today.
Antoine Winfield Jr., I mean, we talked about him all season. The guy deserves an extension. Probably makes the play of the game there.
What a player. Yeah, that he knows he's not going to be able to tackle Desmond Ridder getting into the end zone. His only hope is to punch out the ball.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he does, and he causes the touchback there. That's the play of the game that keeps the Bucs in it. I mean, honestly, the Falcons ran up over 400 yards, 156 yards on the ground.
Yeah.
They ran the ball pretty damn well without Bijan Robinson, by the way, who was sick. Coach, tell us that before the game, all right, so we don't put him in our fantasy lineup and make all our prop bets based on Bijan Robinson. I mean, I can't be the only one that got freaking burned here. Arthur Smith, you
was that the same?
But anyway.
Well, he comes in the fourth quarter.
Am I bitter about it? Yes, I'm bitter about it.
He comes in the fourth quarter, but he can't come in the whole game. And it kind of reminded me of Brisker for the Chicago Bears. We heard a rumor about him.
The Mons flu.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm going to tell you what about this Falcons team. You better get them now because they're a quarterback away from being a superb football team.
Agreed.
That defense is good right now. They got a couple of guys that are aging, but right now that defense is really good. Offensively, they've got weapons all over the field. They've got weapons all over. They didn't need Bijan Robinson. Between Algiers is a hell of a back.
Yeah.
Cordell Patterson is the most misused guy in the history of the league.
Agree.
But the dude is a freaking just speeding truck. Pitts makes the great play at the end. They're finally figuring out how to get him the ball. I mentioned London. Who else did I forget? They got playmakers all over the damn field. And, yeah, Atlanta's going to be a tough out. No question about it. And their quarterback's really holding them back right now.
All right, let's go out to the comments here. You know I'm right. It's official. We are frauds. That reminds me of the 2018 season. Ralph says Bucs lose again. We'll go back to that comment in a moment. Go Bucs. Inexcusable, says Mike Stover. Rise up. I guess Mr. talks about a Falcon fan. Great game. Fire those cannons. We're not going to. Secondary was horrendous. I mean,
yeah. Listen, Carlton Davis and Jamel Dean are not earning their money.
No.
Neither one of them. Jamel Dean.
Yeah.
I don't know what that,
well, save that thought. Let's go out to the phone lines here. Welcome to the Sports Web here in collaboration with the JP Peterson Show. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Richard calling from Clearwater Beach.
What's going on, buddy?
Oh, I just had a question about the running game and a question about maybe using Rashad White, as a third down, receiver out of the backfield.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think they had some success there today when you get him out in space as far as as far as a running back. I'm not sure. I mean, whether it's the offensive line or his vision, because we saw a couple times today where if you cut back, you got a hole, and instead of running to that hole, you're running, right into the line and getting your 2-3 yard carry. So I think it definitely has to be discussed to get him the ball more out in the perimeter. I'm just not sure if he's a number one back. I'm not sure if this offensive line is good enough to know if he's a number one back.
I think. Go ahead.
Sorry,
Richard.
JP. Go ahead. I had a question, JP. What do you think about the chances of the Bucs before the trade deadline bringing in a top quality running back?
They need one. Hey, listen, if they're gonna salvage this season, they need to go get a running back. I don't care if it's Rashad Penny, Derrick Henry. I don't think they need to give up any real significant future assets to get one. unless it's somebody they think they can grow with. And I'm not sure who that might be. Somebody who's maybe down. Hell, the Falcons got 3 running backs I'll take right now. Give me Bijan, give me Cordell Patterson.
Give me Patterson.
Give me
I'll tell you
Algiers,
why. Patterson, because he can do it special
by the way,
teams.
all guys that we've passed on multiple times in the draft. It's a blind spot for Jason Light. He just has not been able to draft running backs very well. And that's, they need somebody though. I mean, if you're going to salvage this season, they've got to get somebody in here. And I don't know if I can't tell you if it's going to make a difference because offensive line is just not getting a whole lot of push up front. They're not. If you can't move people, and you heard Baker talk about the 2 high safeties, right? And when you could play those 2 high safeties and you can basically just use 6 guys to stop the run and make the team one-dimensional, you're screwed. You're screwed. I mean, at that point, you're either just dropping it down to the back or you've got to hit a perfect slant, a perfect seam, make that perfect throw like he was talking about. Make that timing has to be perfect to make those throws. And, the Falcons secondary is not fantastic, but it's pretty good. They're the 4th best defense overall in the league. It's not, they're not chumps. Last 2 weeks, the Bucs have played 2 very, very good defenses. And when they play good defenses, they've got to be much better. You can't have 9 freaking penalties, which I think probably 7 of them were offensively. They ripped off 2 or 3 really good runs every time.
Yes.
It's a holding call. I mean, just brutal. Yeah, so they're not good enough to overcome penalties. They're not good enough to really run it up on good defenses. I mean, that's just where they are right now. Will it get better? It should get better. Remember, it's still a quarterback in his first year with this system, a first-year play caller, an offensive line that's not moving a whole lot of people. I mean, the pluses on this offense is you have a few skilled people in Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and I'm a little concerned about Godwin not separating as much as he used to. Not sure exactly what's going on there, if he's hurt or what, but that seems to be a little bit of an issue. So, this offense the last couple of weeks has looked very, very pedestrian. Can it be better? I think it can be better, but markedly better? Probably not.
I got to tell you right now, those guys in the back of us, they moved more than that offensive line did today against the Atlanta defensive line. Honestly, they moved faster.
And you guys play right guard?
I mean, seriously,
left guard?
Can we sign them up? Can we get them? Because they were just in and out of here just like that.
Yes.
Richard, what else?
Well, I was just going to say that, Rashad was 6 targets on the ball was thrown to him, and he caught 6.
Yeah.
He was 6 for 6.
Yeah.
And
they'll look at the tape and say he should have had 12 targets, probably would have had a touchdown in there, and probably over 100 yards receiving. That's the thing, man. You're giving up something. You're giving up something. And what they were doing is that we're not going to let Evans get over the top again. Although Mike said he had a lot of single coverage today. He said we're not, but what they were allowing is, Rashad White to kind of hang out in the flat. And, that check down should have been used a few more times.
Yeah, Evans had a long touchdown early on in the game, but after that, you didn't really hear a lot from him, and you just kind of wonder again if that's play calling, if that's a first-year play caller, because you've got playmakers, and I know it, I get it, I understand it. You want to establish the run, but when you have Godwin and Evans, you got to figure out a way to get those players the ball more,
especially in a pass game. And this is something I don't think a lot of people understand about play calling.
Thanks, Richard.
Like play calling is, especially in the pass game, you're not calling, you can't call some shots for certain players. You can't do that. But for the most part, the defense is going to dictate where the ball goes. Okay, if they don't want to take away Mike Evans, and you've got some competent corners and a safety, they're going to be able to do that. Yeah. Doesn't matter what play unless you start calling a couple of wide receiver screens, Mike Evans is going to get kind of taken out of so you have to see what the defense is giving you. They're going to try to shrink you down to your lowest common denominator, your worst player. And we're going to leave this guy one-on-one, K-Dot, and we're going to leave, and that's a problem. The Bucs don't have a tight end that threatens anybody. They don't have a tight end that can block, and they don't have a tight end that threatens anybody in terms of the pass game.
Correct.
And teams know this. So what they're going to pay attention to Godwin and Evans. You don't have a run game. You don't have a threatening tight end. I mean, the options right now, and people are like, oh, Baker Mayfield sucks. I'm like, well, that's why this run game is such a problem. When you can't, and the whole offense is predicated on the run game, the ball fakes, the bootlegs, all these stuff. If you can't run, this offense doesn't work.
No.
So now what do you do? Now what do you do?
Yeah.
So you've got to try something. To me, it's like try different personnel.
Make changes. You got to make changes to your offensive line.
In the interior.
Right.
Just, you're not going to change the 2 tackles. They're playing pretty well. but the interior guys are not. And you got to add if I'm Jason Light, I'm going out and beating the bushes to find a running back and see if something is going to happen. I'm not sure if they're getting the injury situation with the other back that Chase Edmonds.
Right.
I'm not sure what his injury situation is, but they got to do something different. There's got to be some personnel moves made.
Yeah, no, I agree. Again, live here from Raymond James Stadium, it's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with JP Peterson of the JP Peterson Show. Open phone line 727-255-0391. Let's go back out to the comments here. Nick says, terrible showing at home. Offense top to bottom line. Coaches coordinator grade F. Matthew. Offense sputtered again. Joshua. Play calling by Dave is dumpster juice. Yikes.
Dumpster juice.
This game was pretty good, but not the results. Joshua again starts with the play calling. Where was Mike Evans' plays in the second? Why is a 150-pound wide receiver running down the middle of the field? And then going back to Tompkins, who also had a critical fumble, but once again, the Bucs defense bails you out, or Desmond Ridder bails you out. That's kind of a head-scratching play there with Tompkins, getting the ball. Again,
you're trying to. It's kind of an extension of the run game. You're trying to get a fast guy out on the perimeter, hit a seam, and get down. And he should know this already. And I'm sure he's been coached this. You're not the guy to turn the ball back into the teeth of the defense, get into traffic, and start running people over.
Right.
You got. With Devin Tompkins, you got to know when the game's over. You're 160 pounds. He's not strong enough to even hold the ball. That thing was going to get knocked out when you go back, when he turns it back into all that crowd.
Correct.
He's got to know when the play's over. Just get on the ground, and that's it. If you don't hit your seam, if it's not wide open, if you're not in space, don't be trying to run people over, any of that stuff. Guys have roles. That's not his role. He needs to know when the play is over. This is, again, situational football. Situational football. You got to be smart in this league. You can't play stupid, and sometimes guys are like, I'm going to try hard. I'm going to run this guy. No, don't try hard. Don't try to run anybody. Find a freaking ground so you don't fumble the football. Ryan Neal, tackle the guy. Come up and tackle the guy. He's jumping up for the pass. Don't just stand there and let him catch the ball and run by you.
Right.
I mean, what are you doing? So situational football costs you in those situations. But again, bottom line is, we say this every week, offensive and defensive line. I thought the Bucs defensive line played pretty good. I'm going to have to look at the tape as far as the runs go, because they did get gashed a couple of times. 156 yards rushing total is not good.
That's tough.
And I asked Todd Bowles about that after the game, and he said the first half was pretty good, second half was not. And when you're in the second half and they're controlling the game with longer drives, that Bucs defense was on the field, it seems like, the entire second quarter and third quarter.
Yeah.
So they get a little worn out, but some of that's on them. You got to get off the field on third down, and there a lot of them were third and shorts too. So you just got to, and that's the gift of the running game. When you get 4, you're second and 6. Now you're third and 2. Now the Bucs run the ball, they're second and 11.
Right.
Third and 9. And you can't play offense that way.
Situational football. Trey Palmer, I think, today failed a couple of times. 2 critical penalties.
Yes.
I mean, and again, it's a rookie thing, but it costs you. It drives you crazy. There was one drive where not only have him.
Holding penalties are drive killers.
Yeah, handsy, the whole offensive line move, but besides the center, I mean, just you've got to get that stuff worked out, and it's those type of penalties that kill drives and kill the momentum of the team. And you talk about the defense being on the field all day long. Well, it's because your offense can't sustain any drives. Yeah. They're not helping them out. You talk about a marriage, right? The marriage of an offense, passing and running the ball. Well, it's also, the marriage of a team. Offense has to do its job. Defense has to do its job.
Football,
if not, then you have a defense that basically is worn out. And in Atlanta, they made no mistake about it. Algier rushed for 100 yards last year. So this should have been, the key thing.
But knew what they were going to do.
Right.
No.
But you can't stop it.
You can.
Right.
but the Bucs did not.
Right.
Not to the success level they have. There were some positives. I think Kalijah Cansey again flashed on the Shaq Barrett strip sack. Kalijah was right there. It was kind of a Desmond Ridder sandwich.
You called that in the press box. You're looking at me and said, watch number 94, Kalijah Cansey here. And, of course, Barrett got credit for it. But it's nice to see the young man once again flash. We've seen this 2 weeks in a row. And, again, the sky's the limit. You said it best. People are going to start to figure out that was the right choice at number 19. There's a reason why Todd Bowles drafted him in the first place for that defense, because he is so versatile. He can get after it. He does have the athleticism. even for a guy that's being called small.
And
you're comparing him to Aaron Donald.
And Yaya Diaby.
Yes,
once
another
again,
guy.
getting in the mix.
Another
we
guy.
said this last week in terms of the snap counts. Yaya's got to go up. JTS got to come down. Did JTS even play today? Did he do anything? Devin White.
Yeah.
5 tackles.
Nothing.
No splash.
You know
plays.
the best linebacker
No,
on this
nothing.
team still
and by
is?
the way, right over here.
Yeah.
Desmond, they're on the 3-yard line. They're on the 3-yard line. Remember the great punt by Camargo late in the game?
Yeah.
And Ritter comes out. There's somebody pursuing him. And Devin White is guarding Algier, right?
Yeah.
And what does he do?
Lets him go.
Lets him run down the
Whether
sideline.
he thinks Neal is coming over for the help or not, you can't let your man go
No,
with
you
free
gotta,
release.
You got to stay on your guy and let Ritter come to you, because the worst case scenario is Ritter gains 10 yards, you run him out of bounds. You turn your guy loose, it's a 40-yard play.
And it's all about IQ, like you said, situational
football. Situational.
Oh.
You got to have some discipline.
Yeah.
And in that situation, and I think J.C. Allen from SI said, he thought Neal was behind him. He's your guy. As far as I've been taught football, if I'm guarding a guy man to man, that and the quarterback escapes until he's up on me and certainly has crossed the line of scrimmage, I got to stay with my guy.
Sure.
You cannot get off your guy until he crosses the line of scrimmage. That's the way that works.
Yeah.
Situational football.
Stay
That was
at
a
home,
killer
do
play.
your job.
That was
Yep.
a killer play.
It's a
you had him backed up.
Yes.
You can't let him out. And
you let him out.
You let him out.
You let him out. Let's go ahead and go out to more comments here. Okay, we read that one. Bear down. I'm not gonna. Vaughn should have been gone last season. Devin is a ghost.
Yeah,
I mean, again,
I whiffed
if
on
you
that
want, if you want Devin White, Devin White wants to be signed. There's fans out there that want him signed to an extension. He has to play better, consistent football. He has to make plays, because we're sitting here right now on October 22nd against the Falcons, still saying the ageless wonder Levante David is the best linebacker on this team.
I said this
and
in
there's
the press
no,
box.
yes,
that I said, if Levante doesn't make the tackle in the run game, it's a 9-yard game.
Yes.
And Devin White's making the play downfield. Am I wrong?
No,
it
you're
was
right.
like, tackle for loss, 54.
Yes.
2-yard gain, 54.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't even need to see the number. It's like, if it was near the line, it's got to be 54, not 45. And it seemed like that every single time. I got to go back and watch the tape, but that's sure what it felt like.
He's regressed. Ever since the 2020 postseason, he has regressed, in my opinion.
In a game where they run the ball that much, you have 5 tackles as an inside linebacker.
Yep.
That's a wow.
Christopher Cole got to put Leverett in at left guard. Christopher Cole, again, no wonder Seattle got rid of Neal. Joshua Deed, 0 points off of turnovers. That's another big one right there. Faker Mayfield's got to go. Christopher Cole, pay Mayfield now. Yeah, Faker. Well, that's a Chicago Bear troll at the end. That's what it comes. Oh, you gotta and you see, this is what happens here. Let me go ahead and do this really quick. We'll move over right over here. Okay, we'll do that right there. There you go. Okay,
they got work to do.
All right, JP, do you believe Glazer family would demand starting player changes like guard and safety? Pittsburgh drafted rookie can do linebacker White's job. I appreciate your true sports journalism.
Let's take one at a time.
Yes.
I got a little funny story for you.
Okay.
Press box.
Yes.
So our good friend Ira Kaufman, Hall of Fame voter, the best of the best, he made a rookie mistake.
Oh.
Left his phone ringer on in the press box and walked away. So
the Sage of Tampa Bay, yes.
His phone's ringing off the hook. Now he walks back over. He's like, dude, and he comes back with, oh, it was Joel Glazer. I'm like, nice comeback. Mister, I got a line right to the Glazers.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, what is he saying? Why are we paying these corners $20 million each to play zone defense and not cover anybody? Is that what he was asking? Yeah, I mean, again, guys that are getting paid got to play, man.
Right.
You got to play. You got to step up and make some plays. CD3 gets beat on the deep ball by Scotty Miller. You can't have it.
Right.
Can't have it. What play did Jamel Dean make today?
What plays he made all year long?
Yeah. What plays he made
got
all
an
year
extension
long?
in the offseason. You felt like it was a good signing.
Love the dude,
right?
I love both of them. Great
What has
guys,
he done?
Fantastic guys.
What has he done?
You got to make plays.
Yeah.
You're getting paid all that money. You got to make plays.
You do. All right, let's go out to Javon Outlaw. The offense is starting to be predictable. Javon again. R. White, not that dude. Misador, you need a running back that understands the zone scheme. Put your foot in the ground and make the cut. Misador, good comments.
Yeah, I mean, there's no flow to this.
Yeah.
It's so funny, too, because you're in there, and I'm asking Robert Hainsey, what's going on in the run game? And he's like, man, we got to look at the tape, man. We got to look at the tape and find out. We got to work hard on it. We got to explain it. I mean, what's he going to say? Oh, I keep getting blown off the ball. and I can't move anybody?
Because that's what you see.
I mean, was it going to – I mean, I feel bad asking the question.
Right.
I mean, maybe some type of, I don't know what they're going to say because when you turn on the tape, you can see it. They're not moving anybody.
Yeah.
They don't move anybody. They get beat to the point of attack. You just – people want to say, oh, it's play calling.
Yeah.
Now, if you can't move anybody up front, I don't care if you're freaking Marv Levy or
Bill Belichick.
Don Coryell. Bill Belichick wouldn't know the first thing about offense. I mean, it's just I don't know. Bill Walsh. I mean, you can't move anybody.
Right.
Maybe there needs to be just a change in the scheme. I don't know. To me right now, personnel-wise, the interior of that line, I would make some changes. I would put Nick Leverett in. I would put Aaron Stinney in. I would do something different because those guys ain't moving anybody.
And you got a short week against the Buffalo Bills.
How can it be worse?
Right.
How can it be worse?
I don't know. Let's see here. Canales is trash
yeah, you
once
can't
again.
Make the change this week.
Yeah, Godwin lost
Can
his
we go
explosive.
easy on Canales here?
Well, I mean,
what do you guys want? What do you guys want him
that's
to do?
a tribal.
Acknowledge me.
That's what that is, a tribal troll. So if the O-line can't get the push needed, why doesn't the OC adjust to the play calling that plays that do work? Right, Joshua Dietz.
What plays work?
What plays that work for this offense when it comes to the
running game? What plays you guys
game?
want to call?
Right.
I mean, I understand what you're saying. First of all, I would stop calling the interior run plays.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I would stop calling those because they're not getting any push.
Right.
I'll give you that. I think what Canales is trying to do is we got to hit some of these, and they did hit a couple of them, but every time they hit one, it was a holding call.
It's call back.
Yeah, and you only need to hit like 3 or 4, and then they have to change what they're doing defensively. So I think maybe that's what he's trying to do. But again, folks, you've got to with this offense, it's just the style of offense that he runs. If you can't run the football, then it just doesn't work.
No,
it doesn't work.
No,
it's all based off the play.
It's all
action.
predicated on it. All right, let's keep on reading these comments here. Thanks a lot for the comments here live on the Sports Web. In collaboration with the JP Peterson Show, Bucs are so pathetic. Bowles is a clown, losing to a mediocre rookie quarterback. He had starts last year. He's not a rookie quarterback. Mayfield holds the ball way too long. I mean, that kind of goes back to what you're saying. Are these wide receivers getting enough separation? What's the play call? Why are you going to Tompkins? Why are you going to Palmer? I get you go to the open man, but sometimes you don't go to the open man. But again, for me, you got to find a way to feed Mike Evans. And I felt like, look, if you got that matchup against Terrell, why isn't he getting the ball more besides the fact of Atlanta's trying to bracket coverage? Don't you have to make those necessary adjustments?
Let me just ask you guys this, and I'll go when I look at the all-22. I don't see Mike Evans running open.
Right.
I don't see Chris Godwin separating from guys. You say, let's feed Mike Evans. What does that mean? Feed him. If he's double covered, why should we feed him?
Right.
I mean, if he's not open, why are we feeding him? Well, scheme him open. It's not that easy.
Right.
It's not that easy just to scheme guys open. And especially for a first-time play caller, he's going to learn that better.
Yeah.
And this offense is going to be a work in progress. And,
it's a work in progress, all right. It's
sure.
a piece of work.
I'm not defending it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not defending it. I'm just trying to explain what's going on. I think some of these the comments, let's feed Mike Evans. What on wide receiver screens, you can call those plays.
Right.
I don't think he's necessarily fantastic on those plays. I don't think those are his types of plays.
Chris Godwin more than anything else, but you really haven't seen the screen incorporated in the game. Is that because, once again, your interior line can't get out fast enough? Those are the type of questions, type of plays you saw last year. And I asked you, what is worse? Is it the running game from last year or this year? I think it's actually this year's worse than it was last year. And that's not a good thing, JP. It's not. Did they put a leash on Baker? Why did he stop running the ball when it's there? Aaron says
I would like him to run more.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Ryan Neal was getting burned every game. Aaron again. Our O-line can do well keeping defenders off of Mayfield, but they are not making holes to save their life. David, again, this team is probably overachieving. I predicted a 5-win season. It looks now like they might get 6. They just aren't very good, and this should be expected while they rebuild. Let's go out to Ed from Palm Harbor. Welcome to the Sports Web in collaboration with the JP Peterson Show. What's on your mind?
I saw a lot of undisciplined football today.
Yep.
The penalties, the turnovers.
Yep. This
is just coaching. The only way to fix this is to get the coaches to coach better. Point blank. You're not going to replace them, obviously, because we're in the middle of
right.
In the middle of the season, so you got to get them you got to get him to coach better.
Yeah, Ed. Last year, the Bucs started obviously really well with the win over Dallas. They 2-0 right last year.
Yeah.
They started well, and the team regressed as the year went on. As I like to say, Dallas to Dallas, this team got worse.
Yeah,
they got worse in accountability. We're having coverage busts in playoff games, multiple. You're having undisciplined play. Yeah, that's coaching. You're either coaching it or you're allowing it.
Yeah.
And Bowles stood at the podium today and was all pissed off, and we can't let that happen. We can't let that. And then we say, what happened on the last play? He said, I know exactly what happened. We'll fix it. Are you going to tell us? He's not going to tell anybody in the press he's not going to throw any of his players under the bus. None. Like nobody, nothing. And I'm just when you don't have accountability out there, when guys are not getting better, and you see this undisciplined play, and then your coach still, doesn't say anything about it. I don't know. Does it help to throw him under the bus? I don't know. Maybe it will, because
maybe it
what
fires
you're
them up.
Right. Yeah, maybe if we start calling them out, maybe they'll not want to be embarrassed in front of everybody. I know Bruce Arians used to call them out.
Yeah.
Some coaches do, some coaches don't. But right now, Todd Bowles has got to look at his team and say, this is an undisciplined football team. They're making too many mental mistakes, not only in terms of penalties, but in big plays. Devin White, Ryan Neal. And one way to get players to play better is to sit their ass down.
Yeah.
And were you going to bench Devin White? Well,
he's not playing like a guy that wants to earn a second contract.
You keep making bad mistakes and not figuring in. I mean, what play did he make today? What play did Jamel Dean play? What Carlton Davis? What Ryan Neal? What play did any of these guys make except bad plays?
Right.
So yeah, try somebody else.
All right, Ed. What else?
I'm not ready to point fingers at Baker Mayfield. I think he's done a great job. I think he did his best today. He did make one bad throw that turned up into an interception.
Yep.
Luckily, it didn't really hurt. We were able to get the ball right back, but those are things he's got to lock down. I think he will. I think at the end of the day, he's probably the biggest competitor on the team.
Yep.
He wants to win badly, and that's the kind of guy you want leading your team.
Ed, great call. Let me go ahead
man.
and go back out to the phone lines. James, welcome to the Sports Web in collaboration with the JP Peterson Show, live from Raymond James Stadium after the Bucs fall to the Falcons 16-13. What's on your mind?
What's going on, buddy? I tell you what, man, I'm a little stunned, man. I tell you what, Desmond Ridder, as far as I'm concerned, is one of the worst quarterbacks in the league.
Agree.
Tampa Bay, with the way they played last week, I thought they'd come out with their hair on fire. That clearly was not the case. And I tell you what, man, you just thank God that you're in the division that you're in, because if you were in an average division, you guys would be finished.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh.
I think I said I wanted to one up everybody who was saying nobody wants to win this game. Nobody deserves to win this game. So I went on Twitter and said, forget this game. Nobody deserves to win the division.
Right.
You're all horrible. You shouldn't even get a playoff. You should forfeit your playoff spot like you should have last year. I mean, it's dreadful football. It's just dreadful football. But I'll tell you what, I think, and I talked to some of my Atlanta peeps. I used to work for the Falcons for a couple of years. And Dave Archer, their radio analyst, and a couple of others, I was talking to them after the game, and they're right. They didn't say this. Make sure I say. I think they're a quarterback away from being a very good football team. And maybe Ridder gets rid of all these stupid mistakes he's making, because he can throw the ball and he can run.
Right.
He's got some talent. He's still very, very young, but he makes a lot of bad mistakes. I think their coach makes a lot of mistakes too. So I'm not ready to trash him. He's got some talent, but they're a good football team. They're good up front on both sides of the ball. And our Bucs will have their hands full going up to Atlanta to get that win later on this season.
Absolutely. All right. What else?
Yeah, there's no question about that. Honestly, it kind of reminds me of, and I'm sure you guys do remember this. It's been a little while, but I could see where this ends up being a Seattle Seahawks situation where somebody wins the division at 7-9 and they get a home playoff game.
Yeah. Like we did last year. At 8-9. And, hey, listen, the Bucs can still win this division at 8-9.
Thanks a lot for the call.
But they've got to fix a lot.
Yeah.
They got to fix a lot right now.
Agree.
And they don't have anything offensively that they can hang their hat on at all. And that's a problem.
All right. Offense is garbage. Go Bolts right there. Packers
Bolts
losing.
took one on our
Yes,
chin last
yes, they
night,
did.
too. That was ugly.
Pete, how tall are you? 4 feet. You look tiny. Okay, whatever, buddy. The defense was on the field too long. Facebook user, when you can't sustain drives on offense, the longer the defense is on the field,
they get worn
gassed.
down, especially in the run game.
Yeah. Let's see. Javon says Atlanta's run game was explosive. Bucs run game was not.
That's the difference in the game right there.
Yeah.
That's right there.
Number 9, let's talk about it. I don't know what you could talk about with JTS. I mean, we continue to say it.
He's not a player.
He's
He's
just
a guy.
He's just a guy. That's it. He's a jag. Okay. Why are they not playing Sean Tucker? Kid is going to be a superstar, and the reasoning is from Todd Bowles throughout the week is that Keyshawn Vaughn is doing more in practice, improving himself than Tucker. And what it goes back is for a running back, it's not just about vision and patience and everything like that. It's also pass protection.
Know your protections.
Yeah.
And I don't know this for a fact, but my
Right.
guess is, because he's shown some flashes in the run game, and he can't be worse than these two guys that they got running the football now. So my guess is that his protections are bad, and you can't play if you can't protect the quarterback, because that leads to sack fumbles and turnovers and awful stuff. So that's my guess.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
Yeah, that's my guess too. All right, let's see here. Jamel Dean sucks. 2018 all over again. We got fooled. Remember, they get off to a great start. And then, not so much. Does it remind you of 2018? Because you covered this team in 2018. Yeah. Does it remind you of that?
Little bit. And every team's so different. Every team is so different. And this team, as I look at it this far into the season at 3-3, the 3-1 was good, but I was like, okay, let's not go crazy about it. They've got some things that they're doing well.
Sure.
But, they were, Baker Mayfield, frankly, was bailing them out on third down time and time again, and that was not sustainable. So yeah, and now this is where great coaching comes in. We had Sal Palantonio on the show last week, and he was talking about this. Week 6, week 7, you get rashes of injuries, right? So now great coaches have to coach around their injuries, their deficiencies, because they know that other teams are going to attack their deficiencies. How do I coach around this? What is my game plan? This is where good coaching really, really comes in, and this is where the Bucs are going to be tested. So in the last couple of weeks, they seem to have been outcoached. Third downs are not happening as much. So this coaching staff now has got, short week against the Bills. What do you do well? What do they do well? How do you take away what they do well? Now the chess game starts, right? So, and results are Todd Bowles coach teams don't fare well. They start early, okay, and then people catch up with them. He doesn't make the adjustments. His staff doesn't make the adjustment. They go downhill. That's what we saw last year. Is that going to be the same this year? We shall see. Going
back to what James said, are you surprised at how this team really didn't come out with urgency again? Once again, a slow start. You go 3 and out. You go for it on 4th and 6. Do you agree with that decision?
Yes, absolutely, wholeheartedly.
Okay.
Yes. On that point,
but are you surprised they don't come out with more urgency? Because
I hear that a lot. Oh, they should be with their hair on fire. What does that even mean? Every one of these, both teams are coming out. They're professionals. They're going to play hard. They're going to play their hardest. I think college football, that's more of a thing, more emotion.
Right.
But professional football, I really don't think that's a thing. Maybe a little bit. But you're a professional. You don't come out here and you're not giving 100%. You don't come out here with your hair on fire every game. You're going to be exposed. You're going to be exposed as a fraud. The coaches see it on the tape. So I think people see that because of the results, and they say, oh, you didn't have a fast start. You weren't ready to play. It's
sure.
I think, the other team's making plays. You're not.
Yeah.
They're catching the ball down the field. The Bucs, deep ball to Mike Evans. It's a good start.
Yeah.
7-7 ball game.
Yeah.
So I don't put too much on that.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. Enough football talk. Peter, okay, we're not talking about wrestling today. Sorry. Good explanations on breakdowns. Appreciate the input. Bobby says we won't win the division with this offense. Hardest schedule in the division left. Although, here's the thing, though. People look at that and they say, well, you're not going to be here until November 12th. You don't have a lot of home games. But if you look at the rest of the schedule, besides San Francisco and Buffalo, like we talked about, these are winnable games.
Those are all winnable games.
You have some opportunity there. Houston, I get it, they're improved.
It doesn't look
but
like
they
it today.
Right.
And don't forget, again, last 2 weeks, 2 excellent defenses.
Right.
When they start playing teams that aren't as good defensively, they're going to score some more points. Their defense will help out, better matchups. It gets teams with good defenses and good running games, bad matchup. That's what this was today. That's what it was last week. They're going to lose those games. What it was against Philadelphia, look at the games they won, not so.
Yeah.
So teams that have marginal or average defenses, they'll be able to move the football and better chance to win. These are tough matchups.
Great post-game show, by the way. We're almost to an hour here live from Raymond James Stadium.
I gotta go.
I know you got to get going.
Dinner's waiting on the table, Peter.
Well, I tell you what, if you want to,
I can't talk anymore about this.
Give me
slop.
some. I tell you what, give me some final thoughts because I'm going to wrap it up here. I'll read the rest of these comments, but give me some final thoughts after the Bucs lose to the Atlanta Falcons 16-13.
Look, this was a game you had to have from a juxtaposition of the record. To get to 4-2, it's a home game, divisional opponent. This is a game you had to have. You had an opportunity to win it. And even last week against the Lions, you make a couple of those plays, those deep balls, you're in the game. You got a chance to win it. But good teams win these games. Bad teams lose these games. And this is what, the Bucs are trending down. They're trending down. They've got to find a way to win. Maybe it's a short week and the Bills are completely schizophrenic, but you got to go on the road to Buffalo. It's never easy. So, if they can steal one this week, which, it's the NFL.
Yeah.
Anybody can beat anybody, right? We see it every week.
Sure.
If they can go ahead and steal one next week, and maybe the Bills are, here comes the terrible Bucs. It's a short week. Let's just get this win. And then we have a mini bye, and you jump on them and maybe you steal a win. That's what they need to do.
Yeah.
That's what they need to do. I don't get the sense that this team has a killer instinct. I don't get a sense that this team is a bunch of badasses.
Mm-hmm.
Can I say that?
No, I can say that. Absolutely.
I think honestly, as a whole, this team is soft. I hate to say that,
right?
But as a whole, the offensive line doesn't move anybody. They're not intimidating. The Falcons, they kicked your ass, in the run game.
Yeah.
They were mowing your ass over. Cordell Patterson was steamrolling guys. Did Rashad White steamroll anybody today?
No.
Just like, does our offense really scare you? Do we beat you up? No, it's the offense is soft. You look at the San Francisco. Is that a soft offense?
No. Christian
McCaffrey's running your ass over. Deebo Samuel is steamrolling your ass. Any of the Buccaneers doing that? No. So I think their offense is soft. Defensively, they got some guys. They got, Canty's going to be a player. Levante David is just he's amazing. They don't run the ball when Vita Vea is in there. Notice that?
Right.
They run the ball and then the 50 trots back on and it kind of stops.
Yeah.
Vita Vea is a badass. Other than that, corners are soft. They're supposed to be, lockdown corners, badasses. What do they say? Carlton Davis said before the season? We're going to do some shiz.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're going to, we're going to cause turnovers and do this.
Shiz.
And so, you're not doing.
Anybody getting popped? Anybody smacking anybody out there?
No.
Team's soft.
Yeah.
So, and teams know that. Teams look at the Bucs and they go, your team is soft.
Yeah.
I look at the guys, some of the guys, they're soft.
And
their bodies are soft.
And they're just guys.
Their bodies are soft.
Right.
I want some freaking Khalil Macks.
Yeah.
I want some freaking Harrisons. I want some guys that look like you do not want to.
I want a Yaya Diaby.
Yeah, Yaya Diaby looks the part.
Looks the part. Yeah.
Yeah, Tristan Wirfs looks the part.
Oh yeah.
Even Gedecke's a big mother.
Yeah.
He will beat you up.
Right.
There's some tough guys out here, but for the most part,
I
hate to say it, they're soft, and teams know it.
Big time test on Thursday night. We'll be live from the patio. This guy right here. Tune in to the JP Peterson show from 10 to noon. What do you got coming up tomorrow, JP?
Tomorrow we got now I'm blanking out. We got some good guys coming on tomorrow. Brian Finneran from Atlanta Radio is coming on. Former Falcons going to join us. We're going to have some folks talk some. I think I have Bobby the Chief Taylor coming on tomorrow.
Nice. All right.
Talk some Lightning. Tough loss for the Lightning last night.
3-1.
That was not good. But we'll be breaking it down like we do each and every morning. Nick Geddes will join me, so we'll have all the fun and frivolity from 10 to noon as we do each and every day. Peter will be doing the show on Wednesday. And then we got the patio show
on Thursday.
Yeah.
So it's Wednesday and Thursday live at the patio from 5 to 7.
Yeah.
And We're definitely going to do a pre-half and post-game
We might
edition.
have all kinds of fun stuff
Yes,
coming up.
absolutely.
I got to run. You want to clean this up?
Oh, yeah, I
and
got
take
this.
some more?
Yeah,
You
I got
it.
this. Yeah,
Thanks,
I got
brother.
you,
Great
man.
job,
Yeah, man.
as always. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Appreciate you, as always. There you go. Let me get those cans. All right, guys, we'll read the comments here. Let me go ahead and just, clean this all up here. Boom, right there. Boom. Editing and producing as we speak. There we are. All right. So, again, I'm Peter Blake here, live on the Sports Web. Open phone lines if you want to get in and talk about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers falling to the Atlanta Falcons 16-13. 727-255-0391. Again, 727-255-0391. We'll read the rest of these comments. Let's see here. And you all blame Leftwich. The OC is ass. Todd Bowles will never bring Tampa a championship. This coach has no accountability to his players. Losing coach brings losing culture. I don't know what to say, because I'm a Todd Bowles fan, but this team's got to do something. They got to turn it around. They got to make something happen. You're exactly right. I mean, I think it goes back to what James said. I'm surprised that this team didn't play with more determination in the game. I'm surprised they didn't come out more. But look, the Atlanta Falcons are a team that is on the come up. Offensively, with Desmond Ridder, not so much. All right, 3 turnovers today for him. Welcome to the Sports Web in collaboration with the JP Peterson Show, live here from Raymond James Stadium. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Peter, it's KR from Tampa.
What's going on, KR? Your thoughts today?
I put some comments in the commentary, and what the heck was that performance we saw today?
I don't know.
This team, once again, underperformed in a dire situation with keeping the division, lead in our grasp, and we just choked this game away again. It started to really show that this team is definitely having some areas of concern, which is definitely concerning to me as a running game. Even the O-line with their blocking scheme, I think they need to really revamp this O-line and say, hey, look, we need to do something, because Buffalo is going to be here Thursday night in Buffalo in a hostile environment, and they're going to be very, very angry. And even though it's any given Sunday, this game may not be a given to us at all, and we may struggle against Buffalo.
Well, I'll say this. Your defense keeps you in the game all game, and it's done that all year long. You really haven't got your doors blown off. That's not to say it can't happen versus Buffalo, who, look, is a highly talented team led by Josh Allen. You have Stephon Diggs. I mean, they have Dawson Knox, all kinds of weapons there, trying to figure out what their identity is with their running game. So is there an opportunity to win this game in Buffalo? Yes, but you have to be balanced. You have to run the ball. You have to be more, and with the situational football, you have to be just a little bit more intelligent. And we didn't see that today. And this is a winnable game. Most likely, Bucs fans are going to look back at this game and say, you know what? The Bucs should have won this game because of all the turnovers they caused, but you got no points to show for it. And then at the most critical time, and I hate to go back to it because it's one throw from Baker, but that's a critical throw. You cannot make that. You have to check it down. You have to get points in that situation, and you get absolutely nothing in that situation at all.
Just very disappointing game overall. And honestly, I'm surprised the Bucs don't do anything to change up the O-line. Maybe, seeking Vita Vea as an extra lineman down, just to find some creative way to make this team, move the ball on offense. Because, like you said, even when Baker had that play on, 4th and goal, and they had all the defenders that was just sitting back waiting for us like in a quarter defense, why he didn't run the football? It's like that situational awareness. Like, you got to capitalize on that. That Atlanta team is beatable. They're not the world beaters, but we just look bad. We just look like we underperform. Our defense played solid enough. But this is another thing, too, coaching. Look at clock management. You had no timeouts, but when you give the ball back to Atlanta, they had 2 timeouts to go, and it's like, bleed the clock. We could have went to overtime, and then we could have said, look, let's try to see if we can win in overtime. But we didn't. We let them get right back down the field. And honestly, Ryan Neal either needs to be benched or they need to cut losses with him, unfortunately, or play somebody else. Or stop playing zone man with these man corners, because they're getting beat every week. And this is what gets me, because even in the press conference, Bowles even said that it was something that he saw that he's going to talk about, not during a conference, but maybe, behind closed doors. And I'm just like, it's like he's taking the onus off of him, and like, blown coverages. This will happen to us in the playoff game. We got beat by blown coverages against the Rams. And I'm just like, why?
Yeah.
Why did this team continuously get blown out with blown coverages? And he tries to pull the onus is not my fault. Like, dude, take accountability. You're the head coach.
Well, you're the head coach.
It's
Not
your
only take
defense.
accountability, but also players have to take accountability, and they also have to look themselves in the mirror, because you look
Right.
at this, you talk about it, right? The secondary getting paid. You got Carlton Davis, who we've seen play at a
Yep.
high level.
Jamel Dean.
Ryan Neal, Antoine Winfield Jr. has been the
Yep.
only constant and consistent player
Exactly.
in this unit, and that's disappointing because coming into the season, you felt like this is a strength. This has been an absolute weakness all year long.
Correct. And you're right. And if I'm Antoine Winfield, they better give him a blank check because he is definitely playing on an all-pro status. He's definitely getting a nod to the Pro Bowl. As long as he don't get hurt, he's going to be in the Pro Bowl because he's playing a hell of a lot of good football.
Sign him right now. Jason Lyon on line 1. And I tell you who else you signed to an extension. That'd be Levante David, because he's the ageless wonder. Give that man another contract.
Oh, my God.
Because
He's
he
been playing
continues
so well
to be the best linebacker on this team. And until Devin White plays up to that standard, I don't feel like it's going to change. KR,
and look at
anything
Devin
else?
White. He struggled. Devin White struggled today. And I'm just like, dude, you talk all this talk and have a piss party about you're not getting paid, but look what your performance on the field is doing. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't sit and talk it and be like, I can't perform.
Yeah.
So it's just, like I said, overall frustrating performance. This team got to play better. I don't know about Thursday night. I'm just going to watch it and we'll see what happens.
All right, KR, anything else here on the evolution of sports talk
Hey,
television?
you guys are doing a great job, and I know JP said it right. This team definitely needs an identity check. That softness needs to go.
Yeah, agree. All right, KR, thanks a lot for the call. Let me give you the macho.
Boom,
man.
yeah.
There
Thanks,
we go.
Peter.
Absolutely. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. We're live here from Raymond James Stadium reading your comments. Atlanta will win the division. We'll see. They definitely took a big-time step today in beating the Bucs 16-13. JP, one more loss closer to the coaches being fired, says Bucs Basement. I'll give you that. We scored with Byron. Well, 18 points a game. Let's see. Who do we go for before the trading deadline? I'm not sure yet. 9-0 Denver. Okay. Joshua Worth says Atlanta has 3 solid backs. I'm not sure we have one. That's very true. Bucs still have to play at Buffalo, at San Francisco. But besides that, and again, I get it. Houston is an improved team here. Hold on. Let me adjust my headphones as we're producing on the run here live on the Sports Web in collaboration with the JP Peterson Show. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. They have a favorable schedule, but the way this team has played all year long, you're just not sure if they could score points. I mean, and that's what it comes down to, the difficulty. You hope that they come out and have a great effort versus the Buffalo Bills, who are expected to be an upper echelon team, a Super Bowl contender on Thursday Night Football with the short week. And I get it, Buffalo is on a short week also, so there's no advantage. But this team right now has to figure out how to put points on the board. And if you can't do that versus the Buffalo Bills, you're not going to win. You basically have to play a nearly perfect game, and even that doesn't guarantee you. And then you got 10 days to figure this out, a little mini bye week. So hopefully you can figure it out. But, I get it. First-year coordinator, first-year quarterback, it has not necessarily worked in their favor. But I do think the schedule, they can win some games. Monday Night Raw is tomorrow. It is. Aaron says they aren't using Vaughn for pass protection. Donald says running back on a draw runs directly into the center. Oh, my God. KR. Afternoon, guys. WTF on that performance. Tank for Caleb, says Bobby Raines. The good news is the Saints are not that good, and Carolina isn't that good also. Harry says outplayed. No, outcoached. Definitely JP. Time to fire somebody. I'm not sold on Caleb. We sure aren't giving him ownership. That's for sure. That was the story out there with Caleb Williams wanting to be drafted and also wanting to have part ownership. But I tell you right now, the way this kid has played the last couple of games here, I don't think there's any team out there willing to give him part ownership. That has not been confirmed, by the way. Let's see here. Differently coaching. James says Todd Bowles, great coordinator, bad head coach. Bobby says we need to rebuild 1-3 at home. James, no way in hell. Buffalo loses to the Bucs after losing to the Pats today. KR, Facts, JP, this team is soft, and they got no dog in them at all. Shooter and Stash, tough loss. Good show, guys. Thanks. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Oh, yeah!
We'll fire the lightning horn. I know you're a hockey guy. Tough loss again last night. I agree they are soft. Starts with coaches. Joshua says, let's play Sap to come in, light the fire under these players. So let's pay. I think he said let's pay, not let's play. Baker, even though he threw that INT, dude still got heart trying to make something out of nothing. I agree with you on that. Bobby says we're not beating Buffalo or San Francisco, not with that effort at Shooter and Stash. Neil equals Sergachev. We are soft because our coach is soft with the players. Joshua, loss of Jensen was a major loss of fire on that offense. Agree with that. Peter, that girl behind you. Okay, I'm not reading that. Sorry. Ryan Neal is horrible. Caller is right. Our corners were a weakness last year. Try the other quarterback. I mean, I don't think it's the quarterback play. This is a family affair. That's my Aunt Tammy. I don't think it's the quarterback. Yeah, I think Baker Mayfield did everything he could today besides the one interception. Of course, you can't have that. I don't think the quarterback is doing anything. It comes down to the offensive line, especially with the run game. Let me go back out to the phone lines using your second call here live from Raymond James Stadium as the sprinklers have come on at this point. So you better hurry up because I got to wrap it up. Go.
All right, buddy. So I'm just giving you a call back. Again. I just want to go back, man. I tell you what, you already know I'm a Jets fan, and I tell you what, man, Todd Bowles has that fucking. Oh, sorry, I'm going to curse on the line. I'm sorry. Todd Bowles has that. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Look on his face all the time on the sidelines. He is not a head coach, man. I'm serious.
Well. It remains to be seen at this point. And again, I'm going to give him a chance, but it's not looking too good right now. And when you can't score points and your defense is doing everything, but you still have breakdowns, you still have disciplinary problems with picking up lots of penalties, especially when it comes to the offensive line, that is directly correlated to the coach. Absolutely. So, and there are times where he hasn't necessarily had his team ready to play, in my opinion. So we'll see how. Yeah.
No.
Go ahead.
The other thing too is, and it's like I'm reading some comments where people think that the Bucs should have won the game today. The Bucs are lucky they didn't lose by 3 touchdowns today. I mean, Atlanta fumbled the ball twice inside the one.
Well, look, let's give credit to where credit is due. That Bucs defense is causing those turnovers.
First one. The first one had nothing to do with that. That was all Desmond Ridder didn't handle the ball right.
Well, still, you're still able to. Well, okay, that's fair, but you could still you're causing those 2 turnovers also, and you're also stopping them in the red zone. That's on your defense. Yeah, you can talk about all the yards and big plays, but when your defense is holding them to field goals and giving your team a chance to win, that's a good thing. Your offense has to do their part, and they haven't done their part the last couple of games, and that's the reason why you're losing games at the end of the day.
Oh, no, there's no question about that. And honestly, unfortunately, Baker had that terrible interception toward the end of the game. That was a terrible pass.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the hell he was thinking on that. But, yeah, I mean, hey, you got to look at it this way. They should, because I think they're better than all 3 teams in that division. I really do. That's not saying much because the division sucks. But, I mean, that should be 3 wins right there for them. They got to play Carolina again. They got to play Atlanta again. They got to play New Orleans again. They should win those games.
They should definitely win those games. All right, James, thanks a lot for the call. Anything else here on the Sports Web with the JP Peterson Show live here from Raymond James Stadium?
No, sir. You got it.
All right,
Take
man.
care, buddy.
Thanks a lot. There you go. James using his 2 calls, open phone lines. The sprinklers have turned on, but they're not over me, so we'll see how many calls and how many more comments we can get, and then we'll wrap it up. Going back to this comment. All right, let's go out to this guy right here, my co-host. Yes, Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire here on the Sports Web. Your thoughts of the Bucs falling to the Atlanta Falcons 16-13. Let me correct myself because I didn't get a chance to finish my thought. I do think, Aunt Tammy, the quarterback is doing something. I don't think it's all on the quarterback. No matter what quarterback you have for this team, if your line isn't able to move the pile when it comes to running the ball and being balanced, I don't think it really matters what quarterback there is. I still think Baker gives you the best chance to win, and I don't necessarily think Trask is the answer. Just my opinion. Go ahead, Harry.
First off, Peter, you're late for dinner.
I know. Sorry about that.
Okay. I understand that you're late for dinner.
I'm late for dinner. What do you mean I'm late for dinner?
You're supposed to be here already. You see, JP went home. He had food waiting on the table.
Hot
What's wrong with
dog,
you?
hot dog. No, I'm not. I already ate today.
No, I'm not.
I did all the eating already here at the press
I'm not
box.
talking about hot dogs. But
Okay.
anyway, on your way home, make sure you do swing by. My thoughts on
Will do.
today's game: outplayed, definitely not outcoached, definitely. Unfortunately, they definitely got outcoached in that game, Pete. I mean, Baker had a lot of opportunities. He hasn't looked his best the past couple of games, and I think you and JP actually hit something right on the head when you inferred to the point that they look soft, and teams may think that they look soft. I mean, it's just weird. You know, I just don't get it.
And there's a lot of prideful players on this team, right? From that Super Bowl year just a couple years back. Again, you have Carlton Davis, you have a gravedigger defense, but they haven't been able to cause enough turnovers these last couple of games, especially, they caused some turnovers, but they didn't score any points on it, but they haven't been able to make those plays, those splash plays, where you can get some points off of them. And then you have all those turnovers and your offense doesn't do their job. They score no points. So that's not going to work. And again, if you're scoring 13 points a game or you're scoring 6 points a game at home or scoring 11 points a game, it's just not going to get it done. And people talk about, the fans not coming out. I love Bucs fans, and I definitely think they should come out here. But if you're playing like this at Raymond James Stadium, I don't know if there's going to be a lot of fans that are going to come out and watch this.
That's not the case. I mean, of course, they're going to still sell. I mean, they're still a really good football team, Peter. They just have to figure some things out. I mean, everybody likes to, I'm just trying to jump on the bandwagon and blame Todd Bowles and everybody else.
Right.
But they're really not that balanced, and they haven't been balanced.
No.
I don't understand what the hell is going on. These are the Atlanta Falcons. When did they decide to find a defense? They haven't drafted for one.
Well,
I'm just asking. I mean, and Ritter, really? He looks like Namath out there.
Well, he had, 3 turnovers in this game. I didn't think he looked great. I mean, he made some plays. They did have some breakdowns, especially in that last drive, as we talked about, with Devin White leading his guy, and then you have Kyle Pitts setting you up for the field goal. But as far as, huge plays, I mean, Scotty Miller beat you for one. But you have to be happy with what the defense gave you. Again, they give you a chance to win. They cause all those turnovers. Your offense has to do their part. And like you said, you're not being balanced right now. You're putting it on Baker Mayfield. And when Baker Mayfield is basically your leading rusher.
It looks like Byron Leftwich and Bruce Arians haven't left. And this is not the way you're going to be able to run this offense.
Right.
And I have a funny feeling, Peter, and I hope I'm wrong for the sake of you, me, and the rest of the fans that are out there for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But there's game tape on this team now. And I think Canales, these might be the jitters that he's getting, and he's starting to force things.
Yeah.
If he was doing things like he did last year, with the run first type of mentality, I think you would have different results. And this could be the issue with it. I mean, they have a good roster.
Well,
don't get me wrong.
They have a good roster, but when it comes to the interior line, like JP said, and like we've talked about, we watched it all day long. I mean, 1-2 yards in a cloud of dust. You see Rashard White has a hole. He goes right into the center of the line or right on the left side instead of cutting back, making that cut because there's a giant hole on the right side. And I get it, 2020, whatever else. But, for me, it's like, is it the offensive line? Is it the running back? Is it both? You do get a long run, but what happens? It gets called back because you get a holding penalty. I mean, it's just.
Yeah. I'm going to give you a little food for thought here.
Sure,
okay?
give it to me.
And again, I hate paralleling 2 different teams. Chicago Bears.
Just don't talk about hot dogs here. Don't give me food for thought. No hot dogs. Yes.
No hot dogs.
By the way, we had pork loin today with some yellow rice. It was pretty good. And I had some salad too. Just so you know. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You ate salad.
I did. Yes.
Bullshit. But anyway.
There you go.
The Chicago Bears offensive line is an atrocious line. Is it better than the Buccaneers? Well, a lot of people are going to say they are. You know why?
Yeah.
Because they took a rookie quarterback today, and they took a 4th and 5th string running back, and they ran the ball for 200 yards today, Peter.
And that's the kind of those are the kind of performances that you see.
And hold on,
right?
And that was an O line that committed 6 penalties today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. I tell you what, I got to wrap it up here because they're trying to kick me out. You got the sprinklers on here. I appreciate the call as always. I'll see you soon. You're exactly right. Bucs fans see that type of performance and they're like, why can't the Bucs perform that way? Let me read the rest of these comments and then we'll get out of here for the night. I know what you meant. You were doing nothing to cause the problems, but I think you were right. I think Mayfield is doing enough to win. Agree. Maybe the boys will play harder if they all participate. Okay. Why are you guys writing that? Ryder looks like he's 21 going on 50. Timmy Free, Trask may be the answer, but thank God he is there because I'm not sure Mayfield can do it all. Stay healthy because the Raiders suck ass. All right, so with that being said, let's wrap it up here. Definitely tune in to the JP Peterson Show from 10 to noon. I'll be on Wednesday and Thursday, usually on Wednesday and Friday. And, of course, tune in to the evolution of Sports Talk Television Live on Monday and Wednesday night at 9 o'clock. Of course, tune in for post-game shows live here from Raymond James Stadium. Bucs fall to the Atlanta Falcons 16-13 to go to 3-3. Thursday night football against the mighty Buffalo Bills. 3 things to wrap it up here, Bucs fans. Cheer up. The season's not over yet. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And for fans of the sports web and the Tampa Bay sports fan, it's your time. Have a good night, and we'll see you soon on the evolution of Sports Talk Television.